I am so excited to share this with you, and it is extremely generous that I do, because it took me a long time to arrive at this understanding. And I really did my investigation. I've been studying the underlying energetic mechanics of life on Earth for over a decade. I have studied all those conventional things you've heard of. I say conventional, I mean like popular astrology, human design, astrogeography, chakras, light work, past lives, you name it. I have bloody looked at it. Like, I've also read into all the conspiracy theories, all the ancient untold histories and mythologies. And it boils down to some really, really simple information. Everything you need is inside of you. And everything you're experiencing comes down to the state you have been holding. Matter follows energy. That goes for everything. That goes for your body. That goes for the people around you, for the room that you stand in. It is all following your energy, your energetic state, which is determined by who you believe yourself to be, who you take yourself to be, and how you take the world to work, is defining everything. It is magnetizing your experience to you. And the more you start to become aware of this, the more you start to realize how instantaneous it is. It is absolutely mind-boggling. It is absolutely a new level of life when you're able to integrate this consciousness. But it's available for anyone to move closer to this and to start to, yes, direct reality in a way that you prefer, but mostly feel good and stay feeling good. Live in peace, joy, and love, and to remember that this is really, truly your natural, God-given state. This is your birthright. I call it bliss. You might have another word you like to use, but that word bliss, I mean in the most spiritual sense. It is this awareness and embodiment of your unity with the all. And the maths to get there is actually really simple. So, you have an unwanted situation in your life, and it might involve a person, it might involve a thing, but the person and the thing is you. And probably if you're here, you have some notion of how the world is mirroring you. I did for a long time, and I was reading energy and investigating energetic dynamics between people and things for several years before I arrived at this simplicity. So again, if you can take this without spending all of that time and energy investigating with your mind, then I am so thrilled. So there's something happening in your life that you don't like. I'm going to use the example of myself and my ex-partner. And one of the things, if I look back, that really bothered me about the dynamic we were in, which was looping and uncomfortable and could be defined as toxic looping relationship, partnership. One of the things was he was criticizing me. Now, as humans, we love to focus on that thing on the outside is doing this to me. And it's the same thing. Gluten is making me bloat. That mother of mine, who's always been difficult in this way, is holding me back in my life, right? Now, we love to focus there, and psychology and therapists will have us focus there, and all of our friends will as well, and we will be supported to focus there by the conventional mainstream approach to life. It's what we were all trained to do. It is our conditioned programming. So go easy on yourself, but do acknowledge and recognize, yeah, that's what I like to do. That's what I've been doing. And let me really make it clear that that is your number one problem in your life. And the very confronting thing is that it's all you. It's always all been you. And everything you have ever lived has been your creation. So confronting. Stay with me if you're about to close away. I get it. Sometimes you just don't want to hear that, but your resistance to hear that is not the power of who you are. That resistance only comes from your ego, from your limited mental understanding of who you are and how life works. So push through the resistance if you have some and continue listening. So that is not the real problem. Of course, I didn't know that at the time, so psychology and the internet and relationship coaching definitely encouraged me that that was the problem. And the standards were not good, and maybe I should not be with him, and I should at least talk to him about this, and if he loves me, he should change. And, he did the same thing to me. So That is not the problem. Pause, retract attention. If there's a problem, if problem is what we're dealing with, you are the problem, okay? And I'm going to show you how to fix the problem instantaneously. You don't need hours of therapy. You don't need to talk it all through. And equally, every time I guide people in the direction of their true nature, their bliss, there is shock at how simple and easy it can be. And really, there is a very common fear amongst us of something called spiritual bypass. Spiritual bypass is dangerous. Dangerous, we must be careful. Now, I am not here to teach anyone spiritual bypass. I've never been interested. As I just told you, I'm a very curious person. I want to know how things work. I have been down in the mud of life, figuring it all out, perhaps like you. So, we're not here to spiritual bypass, but we are here to acknowledge that inside of us all, there is an innate wanting to feel better. And sometimes we deny that because we think it has to be different. We think we have to suffer. But you don't. This can be instantaneous. And so I hope that this video will demonstrate to some of you the proximity between spiritual bypass and spiritual mastery. Because at the surface, someone looking in, it can look fairly similar. Because the truth is, the more you master your energetics, which is spiritual mastery, the more you don't have to stay stuck in suffering and pain. So like I said, we're not bypassing anything, don't you worry about that, but that comes up a lot as a fear from the egoic mind with the people I work with. Okay, stay with me. He is not the problem. I am the problem. Am I ready to accept that, take responsibility for that? It's very confronting. But if I do, it's the biggest liberation for my whole life, and everything I've ever wanted becomes a possibility. All right, so are you ready for the Bliss Maths? The issue, the real problem, is the energetic state of affairs. That person for you actually has no free will because they're living in your reality. You might have felt that. You've asked them to pick up their washing and put it in the box, and they've agreed, but they have not actually done it. And you're going to see what you've been doing with those kinds of circumstances, right? But, you know, no matter how much you discuss things and no matter how much you verbally agree, sometimes people's behavior just does not change because they are reflecting your energy. So it doesn't matter how much you talk about things or idealize or make agreements or verbalize, discuss, agree. Doesn't actually matter as much as your energetic state matters. And sometimes your energetic state is moving and changing and you're having success, but until you learn to master it, you will not repeat those positive results that you want in every area. So it's your energetic state. All right, tell me more, Amala. Right. The Bliss Maths is this. Go deeper than the specifics of what's happening, right? Retract your little finger, come into a separate room, take your attention off of him, and ask yourself, what meaning am I giving to what is happening? This is the first question I want you as soon as you can to remember when you are blaming someone else or complaining about a 3D circumstance. Stop, pause. Number one, what is the meaning I am giving to this? And there's responsibility in that question because you are the inventor, or at least the decider of the meaning you give to everything. So the meaning I was giving, really, truthfully, to his criticism of me, the meaning was like, what I really feel is happening here. Like, well, I believe what he's saying. I think he's spotted my faults and my flaws and he's pointing them out. And I really wish that he wouldn't. It's wrong of him. It's not loving of him. I want to have a different experience, right? Something along those lines. So there's meaning there, and tied up in that meaning, you can start to trace it for yourself, but it's actually, you don't have to worry about it too much. But that meaning only comes from my sense of self, who I have taken myself to be, how I consider the world works, how people treat me, how they treat each other. And that meaning is my creation. My whole life is tied up in the meaning I give to things. And a lot of the time, the meaning I give to things is absolutely conditioned. It's a story I was told by someone else. Okay? We'll get into that in another video if anyone has questions. Step 2 of your Bliss Maths is how do I feel, and take responsibility here, about the meaning I've given to this circumstance. So how do I feel about this story, which I might not be willing yet to admit is all my doing. That's fine, doesn't matter. How do I feel about it? In my case, I felt like I have to prove myself. And it will be different for everyone because we all have different roots to our programming and our pain and our freaking confusion about what's going on Earth, right? So mine was, I feel like I have to prove myself. I feel like I'm not good enough. There is the gold. And really feel what you are feeling in and amongst that. And it feels horrible, doesn't it? And that's why you've been going to him and asking him to change and trying everything you can to fix what's happening between you, because ultimately you love him, you want to be with him, you can envision a harmonious potential between you, and you can't understand why you can't reach it. Okay, you can't reach it because you keep using your mind and you keep focusing on those 3D circumstances. It's not working. I know it's not working. I tried hard enough. I've seen everyone around me do the same my entire life. It does not work. That's not how life works. Okay, so sitting with what you feel, it feels horrible, right? And here is your responsibility and the possibility. So without thinking any further, it feels horrible. You're down in the dumps, you're down in the dirt of life, where everything sucks, something's broken, something's gone wrong, something needs fixed. And where do you want to be? Like, how do you want to feel? If you're really honest with yourself, and if you are not holding yourself back and pinning yourself to ideals of, oh, well, the right way to do things is this and the wrong way to do things is that. And my therapist told me and my spiritual teacher said, no, like, get really honest, get really childlike. How do you want to feel when you're in that state? You want to blast into a different state. You want to get out of it, don't you? And yeah, if you have full choice, you want to feel really good, don't you? Think of children. Think of the innocence and naturalness of children. They're playing a game. Something happens that they don't like. What do? They drop it. They start playing another game. They are so intelligent. You were like that. You were so innocent and intelligent and sure of what you were available for experiencing. What happened when your parents were arguing? You ignored them, right? You went outside. You played with the grass. You always found a way to take yourself into a different dimension or reality, no matter what was going on around, that was always about feeling good. You did it for as long as you could until you got trained out of it. It's so natural, so be honest. You want to feel great. You want to feel great, and you're only not doing that for all the attachments you have to these stories about how life works and what's responsible and what's adult and mature and, the correct thing to do. But truthfully, you want to feel good. So be sneaky with me and let's allow that natural process to unfold. How do you feel good? You decide on the state. In my case, and I'm going to use my own wording, you want to flip and find the absolute opposite of what you just described as your state. So I was feeling, I have to prove myself and I'm not good enough. And that's in general, to be honest, because that's looping in other areas of my life, and you might notice that already. Okay, how do I want to feel? Oh, I want to feel like I can do no wrong, like I am perfection, like I am beautiful, perfect, loved and adored exactly the way that I am. Those are some words, but really my words personally, you'll know it if you feel around in here and just allow yourself to go further with it. I am a shining star and that person reflects my brilliance beautifully and I love spending time with him. Now that is how I really wanted to feel. And that is what I was wishing for and trying to achieve on the outside and not getting there. But as I told you in the beginning, my state was really what was preventing that, not my actions, not my thoughts, not my intentions at the surface. What was determining what magnetized that behavior from him in the first place was my state, which, by the way, before he even started to bring my attention to it, was, I don't feel good enough and I feel like I'm trying to prove myself. That went back to childhood, at least. So he didn't make me feel that state. He helped me to experience how that was living inside of me based upon the stories I was holding. So I want to change my state. I can take myself into that state right now, and I can also achieve that state in the direction of that person by deciding for myself, oh, you know what? I'm going to change the meaning I'm giving to this. And it can be as simple as the meaning I'm giving to this is that I was confused for a moment there. I was acting like a human. I was acting like someone powerless. I was acting like someone who's been told what to do their whole lives, that there's a correct way and a responsible way to behave, and that I have to do certain things in order to feel better and have a better relationship. And I'm going to drop that right now. And I'm just going to be the person who is happy. I'm going to be the person who sets her energetic state. I'm just going to give this a go. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to see what happens. Sounds naive to the egoic mind, I know that. But stand up right now, move around. After you've done your own bliss math, I suppose. But in my case, stand up and move around, step 3. Be like, I am the most adored shining star of a person, and he sees me that way and reflects me that way. Like, pretend. We're playing a game after all. This is all a illusory dream. So allow yourself to play and be childlike and return to your innocence and your nature. And there is no reason that you cannot do that. Now, I'm not asking you to imagine or ignore what's happening around you. I'm asking you to recognize that your power has been hidden from you this whole time, hidden in plain sight. You have been trained to laugh at these ideas precisely because you're so powerful that there are systems of survival that don't want you in your power. And they broke your power and your connection to it early on. So this is actually the most powerful thing you could do. And I'm not asking you either to invent a story of who you are and how wonderful you are. The more you train yourself into the truth of your inner world, the truth of your heart, the more you don't have to decide anything. You know you actually are perfect exactly as you are. You know that you deserve love and reflection of that beauty that you are from the people around you. The only reason you have not been experiencing that is the mind, is the attachment to the 3D outside world, is taking that to be true and trying to fight it and change it and make it different. You've just been operating with your mind. So start to operate with your real power. And start to recognize the innate intelligence all around you. And the innate intelligence in the love that draws you towards that person over and over again, even if it's difficult. The love inside of you, the truth of who you are, knows that the potential you see for harmony and love between you, whether it's your mother, whether it's your partner, is up to your inner decision and your energetic state. The world doesn't work the way that we were taught. And life really is a lot simpler to manage the closer you come to your innate nature. And the more you move out of operating in rulership by your head into operating in rulership of your heart. Thank you for listening. This is a path of spiritual mastery if you'd like support with it. It's pretty hardcore. I'm here, I do sessions, I have trainings, and I hope this serves you.